and welcome to the Secret Art of Business. Today, I'm very excited to have Pily Tàmara with me today. And I have heard only amazing things about you. So thank you for being on the podcast and talking to all the listeners today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
All right. I'm excited to have you. All right. So, according to what I do know about you, you have been at Lexington for 11 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm
That
like
is
one of
amazing.
those
Let's talk
leaders.
about what you
Yeah.
do at Lexington.
I do design research and strategy here, and then also what we call insight translation, which is basically translating insights, data visualization, telling the story of the user or of the customer, using language that is empathetic, and then also using visuals that can engage the reader with the data, with research findings, which in other words is building the gap between research and design.
I love it. I love it. And that is like complete left right brain thinking right there because your career path started in a way by starting out at CCD, the Columbus College for Art and Design, and also with California College of Arts. So, how did you land in art school to do what you're doing now? How did
um,
that all evolve essentially?
so I mean, I'm originally from Colombia, so I was an international student at the Columbus College of Art and Design, CCAD. And I knew I wanted to do something with design. So I went into industrial design because I thought that was, of all the different design options or art fields or whatever you want to call it, the one that I felt had more touch points, like, or had more opportunities for me to figure out which path to take. So that's why I ended up in industrial design, and then, but I always wanted to do something that was, I just, if there was something I knew is that it had to do with creativity and with design. That is
Hmm.
something that I always wanted, and I actually was debating psychology as well,
Oh,
which
wow.
then, yeah, I was like, do I want design, do I want psychology? But I think I can help people through design anyway, so why not just focus on design and then figure out how to help people after. Which then, I didn't realize how everything would make sense 4 years after. So that's that's how I ended up in design.
Think it's absolutely incredible because it's not a path that is typical. And I love that, you had this design desire, and yet you also had this, how do I get people to, kind of marry the two things together with the
Hmm.
thought processes, the psychology, and that sort of thing. So it's really kind of cool. Which leads
Hmm.
me to ask you the question, what did you do as a kid that made you decide that this was going to be an interesting path for you?
So I was always the art kid.
Hmm.
I was always, it was, I had the great opportunity that my family gave me that I was exposed to a lot of things growing
Hmm.
up, to different sports, to different art, to different music, to all these different things. And there was just nothing that stuck to me more than art. Like, I dreaded learning the piano. I dreaded like tennis. I didn't, it was not for me. But I loved going to art class, and I just got lost in it every single time. Didn't matter the medium. I was just very into that, and I think, and everybody in my school, even the teachers and classmates and students from different grades, knew me for that.
Hmm.
So I just knew that that was a huge strength that I had and that I loved, and I just wanted to make sure that I whatever I was gonna do the rest of my life, I was gonna enjoy. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It had to have that element to it, which I think is really exciting. And
Hmm.
again, that the fact that you found this path is incredible too. So, while playing the piano and stuff can also be seen as artistic, what specifically did you like about what did you do artistically? Was it drawing? Was it painting?
Yeah,
Was
so
it?
yeah, I'm sorry, this is true. It was more of fine arts. I mean, I did love dance as well.
Hmm.
But so in terms of the arts, I did love dance, not so much playing instruments, but I did love painting, drawing, I think anything that had to do with me creating with my hands,
Right.
um, and maybe like visualizing, um, anything, like even like which is it's a weird connection, but I do think they make sense. Like even in like literature class where we had to like visualize Shakespeare or things like that. So then I didn't realize that what I was doing there was like, how am I visualizing a concept? And so
Mm-hmm.
like I was really good at like those type of assignments, and then which now translates to, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm reading data and now I'm visualizing and telling the story from a visual perspective. So it's just weird how everything really just came together without like even realizing it. And I like what you said earlier, it's like that left and right coming
Mm-hmm.
together. Because you do have to analyze and understand
Right.
what you're reading in order to then visualize it and make it more tangible for others to understand.
I love that. I love that. So, do you have time to do art now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did have many years where I was like, I can't do more art, like going to art school was so hard, was draining. But lately I've been getting a little bit into watercolor. I forgot how hard it actually was. And something that I've always loved that I'm doing even more now is baking. So making pieces of art out of food, essentially.
No, that's absolutely creative.
So yeah, so I've been really enjoying making treats for people, and I always try to find a new recipe to challenge myself to learn
Mm-hmm.
a new skill. So yeah, it is baking is very structured.
You have to
You can
measure
mess it up.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can go horribly wrong.
Yeah. So there is that, like, again, I think it goes back to that logic thing. I do get very creative with the decorations and the icing and the flowers or whatever I decide to put on it. So yeah,
Are you the
that's how I've been
person
using.
that's always bringing snacks into the office? Are you that person?
Yeah,
Or do you
although
do it like
yeah,
for your family?
yeah, I try to bring to the office, but there's not enough people anymore. Because everybody's so hybrid. It's like people are not eating this, so. But if there's a party, I'm like, I'll bring dessert like
Oh, I love
immediately.
it. People
Yeah.
said, yes, you can.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, that's hilarious. Um, what do you find is the most rewarding thing about your job, do you think? Because, like I said, you are, definitely working both sides of your brain. I would love to know, which part of those things really kind of gets you excited? Because you've been there a long time, so you must like something.
Yeah.
So, what are the things that you really like doing there that just keeps it, interesting for you and
Yeah.
rewarding, I guess, too?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, it is the fact that it's a consultancy, I
Hmm.
think makes it interesting already because with all the different clients, there's always a new challenge and a new topic. So I'm always learning about something new. And yeah, I'm interviewing customers for different things and getting
Oh,
creative
nice.
with different things. So that makes it exciting. Um, but then as like for like personally, I think I go back to um being able to do both the analytical and the creative. Because I don't think I'll be happy in a place where all I do is creative. And then I don't think I'll be happy in a place where all I do is analytical.
Hmm.
So having that balance of both things has it makes me excited. It challenges me in two different ways, and it gives me a break
Hmm.
from both. So I think that uh, the creative part makes me excited, makes me I just love it. It comes very naturally, and then the analytical part is the challenging part.
Hmm.
Although
Hmm.
being creative is also
Oh, it
challenging.
can be for sure.
But it I think it like helps it I yeah, it gets me it really works my brain in the way how I like it to be worked, and I think that that's why it's been such a great fit for me for so long.
Very, very cool. All right, other than baking, are you still drawing or doing any sort of creation with your hands, or this is just the perfect unplug for you is to do the baking?
Well, the watercolor, it's
Oh
like
my God, that's
a
hard.
new one. It's brand new color. It's brand new
Medium.
project. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm pushing myself to finish this one piece
Uh-huh.
currently. But then also another thing I do a lot, prior to even the baking or the watercolor has been, I always find excuses. I should not be saying this out loud. Um, to like help other people.
Uh-huh.
So say somebody has like usually a family member, a friend, a party or like a birthday party or a wedding or the resume or whatever it is that requires creative help.
Hmm.
And so I'm always there to help them out. And I feel like those become my little projects too.
I love that.
Or even me designing events, like little details. I just love little details. So if it's like an invitation or I don't know, anything that's printed, anything coasters, whatever it is,
Right.
that can make the experience of a party more, I don't know, detailed,
A little more
oriented or
special, a little
something.
more elevated, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
special elements. So
Yeah.
definitely I do channel some of my graphic design skills for personal projects like that
Hmm. Hmm.
too.
I love that you kind of outlined like your extra activities too, because I think sometimes people struggle with that whole debate like who's an artist and who is not, and it is really everybody can do something. And when you think about exactly what you explained, like helping out at an event, maybe, knowing exactly how to fold the perfect napkin or how to do the flower arranging. Or, I mean, people should look for opportunities like that in their life where they know that they have a little bit of a flair for, because that is probably their creative genius kind of sneaking out a little. And they
Mhm.
should really kind of feed that desire that you kind of have. And it helps people in the long run. I mean, they're getting free help. But and also, you'll start realizing, these are some of the things that I gravitate towards, which is why I always ask people what they did when they were younger too, because that's usually that pure, um, unjudged, special thing that you used to do that you had to kind of let go of because people say you'll never make a living at folding napkins or, playing, putting on plays in your backyard or things like that. But those
Yeah.
are the things that are the start of it, and and many times the things that you have to rediscover. And it sounds like you're doing a really great job doing that. Do you ever get involved with like, well, I let me just ask this too, because you said this and I just skimmed right over it in my mind, so I'm gonna go back. Watercolor. Now, did you go back and take lessons for that, or are you doing it as completely self-taught?
Um,
Because I so
I've
want to
been,
do this.
yeah. So, I
Always
mean,
question.
I took classes when I was in high school. And so I learned watercolor when I was high school and then even when I was in elementary school. So like I've used it before, but it's been so long
Hmm.
um that I had to go buy new stuff.
Oh,
Like I
sure.
had to and then I had to do a lot of Pinterest inspiration, which by the way, I cannot live without Pinterest. Any little project I have to do, even if it's picking an outfit, like I need
Yeah. Oh, that's
inspiration.
smart. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, inspiration for everything, for meal prepping, for everything. And so I looked at a lot of watercolor, got inspirations. I saw a lot of videos. I read articles. I did my research on
Hmm.
how to do watercolor, trying to remember everything. When I was at the shop, thankfully the lady there also did watercolor. The lady at the cashier, and she was super helpful. So she gave me tips, and I follow her on Instagram, and so but it was a lot of like self uh, it was a lot of like self-taught, but also remembering things that
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I had already learned like years ago.
And are you satisfied with the results so far? Or you'll
Yeah, so with
because you can
watercolor,
pick up big money math real quick.
something that this lady told me was like, you're going to hate it until the end with watercolor. And
That's great advice.
I kept reminding myself about that because I want to see the thing, right? Like I want to make the art and I want to that is what happens when you create, right? It's like you have something in your head and you're putting it, you're
Mm-hmm.
making it real. So like I want to see in the paper what I have in my head, and so when that doesn't happen, it's frustrating. And I think that that is why people get very frustrated at watercolor
Mm-hmm.
because what, and I think that that is why watercolor is such a great therapy tool, because it's a lot about letting go and
Good. Yeah, it's
letting the
true.
water take over the paper
Mm-hmm.
and letting it be what it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So so I had to remind myself of that a lot, especially like, with baking, it's like you want to have all the control, you know. So so here I had to let go. So what first I hated it. I was like, I'm done with this. I dropped it. I'm not gonna pull an all-nighter on this thing. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then the next morning when I woke up and I saw it, I was like, actually, this is not bad. Like, you're doing a pretty good job. And it's just like, like pat on the back. Like,
I love it.
yeah, this is that you picked a really hard flower and this is looking really good. So I still need to keep working on it, but having that patience. I think
Hmm.
that's another thing. I think that with art you have to be patient.
Yes.
With baking you have to be patient. I it yeah, I
Don't
think a
rush.
lot of people
Trust the
that,
process, and
yeah, patience, discipline, it's all key to making art and to make a living from art,
hmm
your from design, from a creative
absolutely.
field. Yeah.
So you have a very, great job. Um, do you have a side hustle of any kind? Or is it just, or is it
I
just like these little ad hoc hobbies you like to do?
Yeah, I don't. I have people that tell me that I should, like, she sells stuff on Etsy or
Oh, yeah.
bake cakes or bake desserts for parties. Like every time I bring something and this is piece of art, everybody's like, "Oh, you should sell this." I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna pay that. Like, I
Well,
don't
it
think people
sometimes takes the
understand how
fun
much
out
it took.
too.
Huh?
When you turn to a business, it sometimes takes the fun out too. It's like I'm doing this
Yeah.
because I love it, not because I want it to, be a business.
Yeah, and also how much it costs to make that is more than
Yep,
people think. It's my time. It takes
that's
a
true.
long time.
Yeah.
It's the ingredients. I
These
pick
cookies
really
are
good
$5 a
ingredients.
piece because of what I
Yeah,
put into them.
yeah. It's like I don't think people are gonna actually pay. Like once they know how much it actually
Yeah,
costs, I don't think they're gonna want to pay for this. I don't even
I
want to do
love
the
it.
math. I don't want to
Yeah.
even like tell myself how much money I'm giving people. You know,
I'm making this
like
as my gift to you.
yes, this is my gift to you. Yeah. Yeah. So I rather just, so people do tell me that, but I don't know.
You can take photos and just be an influencer. People can try and copy your
Yeah.
cookies or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Other people can get inspired by it.
Is there
But
is there anything that you haven't tackled? What would you still like to do?
hmm. Um, I've been wanting to get into ceramics.
Oh,
Um,
that's a good choice.
yeah. Definitely, yeah, getting back into that. Even just drawing, like with pencil.
Hmm.
I think I need to get more in tune with my artistic self because I think that that's something that is very easy to put apart and like put aside.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think we talked about this in the past where um, going through 4 years of art school, everything was for a grade and you have like zero amount of time to do things.
Yep.
And so that really, really drained me. And I did not want to like make art again, which was very sad because that's not
Hmm.
what you're supposed to.
Yeah, again, the joy was gone for a while.
Yeah, the joy was gone. And, art school is meant to build artists. So it felt like it killed my internal artist.
Right,
And
right.
so when I think about making art now, I have to think about my high school self,
Mm-hmm.
like the one that really was doing it because of love for what was being made,
Right,
and
right.
that getting into that zen space. Um, so but yeah, so I think that there's a lot to there's so much that I need to get back to, because it really, I think it makes you feel, for at least for creatives, it brings you back to self. Um
100%.
yeah, and you mentioned like flower arrangement. I love flower arrangement. It's just
Of
like
course you do.
anything that is about like, yeah, it is so much fun. I love it. Like I'd rather go to a grocery store and buy like the different flowers and figure out which ones match and then take them
Yeah.
home and make the arrangement than just buying the arrangement.
One of my favorite things to do since you brought that up is I used to go to the grocery store, and there was like in the back they had a section that was just marked "I'm still pretty," which was these plants that still had life on them. So I would
Oh,
buy those and just like trim out the best ones and make them pretty, really pretty again, because they're just like,
oh,
yes, you are so pretty, and we're going to
I
give
still,
you a little
oh my God, I have
something.
not seen that. I will definitely look for that. Oh,
Um, but yeah, I was just thought it's like this is the perfect bouquet for any artist out there that says I'm going to save you and make you lovely. But
yeah.
I love buying things as separates too, and just kind of challenging yourself. It's in a way it's a little bit like making a painting, but it's 3D because it's
Yes.
color choices and it's about height and depth and all that sort of stuff.
Even
So
the movement that you create with those
yes, I love that you
flowers.
brought that up. That was a great example. And actually, I love all the things that you brought up because I think it gives people a lot of thought to put behind how they can start tapping into, a hobby that or skill that they have, and they can really just start enjoying again. I talk to people all the time where it's like, I'm just so busy and I'm so responsible for other people and other things. I don't have time to do these things for myself. But you could just do really small steps, like just buying that flower arrangement is a very easy, non-committal sort of thing rather than committing to coming up with a watercolor painting or something like that. But there's so many different things, and I love that you
Mhm.
touched on so many of those. Like I'm just having all these ideas now just talking to you. So I'm like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this now. Um, so I thank you so much. People said you'd be a fantastic guest, and you're beyond that. You're absolutely the perfect guest to try and illustrate why this is necessary, why this is possible, and yes, we can all just tap into our creative genius that we have. And sometimes it stems from what we did as a kid, or things that you're just like, I just want to try and see what happens. So
Yeah.
it's all fun stuff. So thank you so
Hmm.
much. It's so
Yeah.
great talking to you.
Yeah. It's been great talking to you. And I mean, creativity is being in touch with like your child, right? Like, and that's so,
Absolutely.
so important to remember that. So I'm so glad that we were able to talk about that, because yeah, everybody should get that creative. People think that, oh, I'm not creative, and oh, I and they think that being creative is a certain thing. Maybe I don't know how to draw. It's fine. You don't have to know how to draw to
No,
be creative.
right. Yeah, if not,
Hmm.
get on Pinterest and be inspired by what
Yeah,
everybody else is doing. It's like, oh, I can
yeah.
do
It
that.
could be
Or
woodworking.
you could make it a disaster and then you get to post it. And then that's that's beautiful in its own way too.
Yeah,
Pinterest disasters.
absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I did too. Thank you.